It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Time for another weekly edition of A Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake. I'm Wild Will.
I'm Uncle Chris.
And a great weekly show, number 112. We're going to have Paul Albers on from the National Crappie League, huge tournament.
I love him. He is so cool.
Yeah, and I consider, there's a lot of big names in fishing at the lake, but this guy started the Crappie Masters Trail. He is a legend in the fishing world.
Yeah.
He's in the National Fishing Hall of Fame, and he is still out there promoting tournaments. He'll talk to us about their upcoming tournament. Plus, we're going to look back at the first annual Spoonbill Snagging Tournament. Took place Saturday. Boy, that was really cool. Also, a couple of cool announcements with boating events. Shootout gets a new boat or a new, I would say, classification.
Yeah.
They're going to become sanctioned, believe it or not, plus a very special hometown heroes, all that and a whole lot more on this week's edition of Cup of Coffee.
Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake here. The weather outside can't decide if it's going to be spring or not, but here at Slumberland, we've definitely decided it's spring. Come check out our spring spruce up sale. Save lots of money for furniture for every room in the house. Take advantage of our local delivery. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture at the Lake, where we're bringing happy home.
All right, so as we get started on this week's show, did you see the Camden County deputy who rescued an owl?
I did see that. How cool is that? And you know I love birds, right? Yeah. Eagles, owls, Woo. Hawks. Caw-caw, caw-caw, right?
Before we came on, I said owl, and you start flapping your wings.
I did. I was like,
it's not an whoo. Owl's a whoo.
You do a good owl. Do you have owls around your house?
No. I just know that that's the only sound an owl makes. No owl makes the other sounds. Yeah. Okay, so as the story, according to KRMS News, reads, it is a rescue of another kind for Camden County Sheriff's Deputy Leon Austin. Austin recently responded to an area of Highway KK at Osage Beach to respond to the report of an injured owl. The Conservation Department gives Austin credit for capturing the owl and delivering it to Conservation Agent Tyler Brown to check the winged creature out. Now, upon further review, and several minutes later, the owl was strong enough to fly off and return to his place of nature, but it's still a cool story. You see a picture there of, it looks like Leon Austin with Camden County. So pretty cool. I mean, that would be something right up your alley.
Oh.
A chance to rescue a bird. Also, Commissioner James Gohagan, he's like a bird whisperer.
Yeah.
So you two, and now Leon Austin with Camden County, you three are like the bird whisperers in the area.
You know what I'm most impressed about is, I mean, owls can be dangerous, right? Wild animals and talons and all that stuff. And you see that picture with him holding the owl. So he must have had something with him that allowed him to, go and work with that owl.
He might just be a man,
Yeah, I'm telling you what, it would be a little spooky. As much as I love those birds, I don't know that I would be able to go up and actually help it, because I'd be afraid of it like taking my eyes out or something.
So hey, in the spirit of impersonation, seeing you were giving us your best owl impersonation of the wrong sound, I'm curious, what would the impersonation look like of one of these dangerous owls attacking you?
Okay, it would sound exactly like this. You remember that candy commercial where the kid asked the owl, how many licks does it take to get the center? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. That's my impression of an owl.
That's good. That was much less animated than I was anticipating, but that's a great answer. By the way, how many licks does it take to get to the center?
3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you eat it, right?
Yeah, it's the way to do it. So kudos to Deputy Austin. Now as we look ahead, a couple of boating stories. So you saw the Shootout.
I did.
Actually goes kilo.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean exactly?
I don't know. It kind of sounded a little suspicious at first, right? But apparently it has something to do with being able to set world records and going sanctioned, because the Shootout's been known as the largest unsanctioned boat race in the world or in the United States, and now apparently they're getting sanctioned by the kilo races that will allow these high-powered boats to set world records officially and everything, I guess.
Because being unsanctioned, when you ran on the course like the Spirit of Qatar that ran 244 in 2014, that was not an official. So that was not the world's fastest cat or whatever at that point in time. So there is a new class. It doesn't mean the whole race. All of the other classes and runs are still unsanctioned. But this particular wing of the Shootout, I just read this in the comments from Shootout director Leah Martin. Organizers on Friday announced their newest collaboration with Union International Mononautique and the American Powerboat Association.
That was good.
Sanctioned kilo races.
I didn't know how to say that word. Monoquatique or whatever.
Yeah, let's find it again. Mononautique. Oh, nautique, like, you know. I said it way
You
better.
did it better than I did.
If you could have just let it go.
I was
and we
gonna
could have
stay away
moved
from
on.
that. Yeah.
So listen, known worldwide as the largest unsanctioned boat race, as you alluded to, in the U.S. of A., this incredible event in Central Missouri's fundraiser. As you know, it's grown to be one of the biggest boating events in the entire country. Over 100,000 onlookers, and last year raised over, what was it, $600,000?
Yeah, I think
last
it was.
year. Does it say that in the story? I mean, so it's become $625,000.
Yeah, 625.
Which is incredible. And it's going to be produced by P1 Offshore. It'll be live streamed on their Facebook page. Brett Benier, title sponsor, said it's the best of both worlds as unsanctioned meets sanctioned for the first time in Shootout history. Of course, Brett's the co-owner at Performance Boat Center. We're proud to continue to be part of the biggest powerboating event in the world, which draw thousands upon thousands to our lake every year. Now, it takes place Saturday, August 26th, Sunday, August 27th. For up-to-date information, you could visit lakeoftheozarkshootout.com. Also, Lake Expo does a great job with their coverage, lakeexpo.com/boating/shootout. But interesting, because forever it's been known as the largest unsanctioned boat race, kind of the name that made it famous, you know.
Yeah.
And so a new element, Shootout continues to make changes and additions. It's going to look different this year.
Yeah, you know, and actually, I'm really interested to see how this starts working out for the Shootout, because the Shootout has been so successful as kind of a local entity, kind of, you know, local companies, businesses, people all gathering together to make it happen and make it special, and it always has. But it's gotten so big, it's almost going corporate now. And I'm interested to see how that works for the Shootout, if that does work, because it's going to lose some of the local flavor.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting so big, it's starting to lose some of the local flavor, the local love, the local people. And now that it's starting to get sanctioned, world records, all that stuff, it'll be interesting to see if that's a good thing for the Shootout or if it's a bad thing for the Shootout, because it could go either direction. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because it says there that P1 is going to produce this year's Shootout. Well, what does that mean for Denny Benny, who's done a phenomenal job the last 3 years putting on the most impressive Shootout broadcast we've ever had?
Yeah.
You know, and so those things are interesting. What does that mean for Dave Leathers and the Shootout program guide that's done the program guide for the last 10 years and given back, you know, $250,000 to the Shootout? So those questions are interested to see without that local connection and involvement, do they continue to have the success? We certainly hope so, but only time will tell.
Yeah.
Of course, other exciting news, what I've always considered the more exciting of the two races, of course, Shootout for charity, amazing, right? Their camaraderie, you love it. But lake race, you get these crazy boats at the same time running the course side by side. I mean, you have risk for injury. It's crazy. So
It's like NASCAR on the water.
It is. It's
Yeah.
exciting. And according to Lake Expo, it's Power Fest. The team at Lotto Power Fest, formerly Lake Race, announced today that Cool 102.7, speaking of Denny and Benny Media, Lake of the Ozarks will have exclusive radio broadcast rights to carry the event when the race comes to the 7-mile marker this June. Lotto Power Fest. Man, it's going to be tough for me not to call this Lake Race.
Yeah,
So I'm going to have to
telling you
work on
what.
it now. Lotto Power Fest is a 3-day event scheduled for June 1st through the 3rd and is sanctioned by the Offshore Powerboating Association, OPA. Like I said, Cool 102, classic hits radio station. They're local, owned right here by Denny Benny, and they're excited about this partnership. Betty said Cool 102.7 will feature the exciting event all day Saturday on air live, but you'll also be able to listen to the streaming audio on www.mosportzone.com and from your smart speaker on all your usual streaming apps. Now, Lotto Power Fest attracts the fastest and most powerful boats in the world to compete on the waters, and they're bringing back those F1 crazy. Remember 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They had those those things were insane. Like they looked like literally, what's the drag racing? It looked like one of those on the
funny
water.
cars or something like that. Yeah, and our own Andy Evans was out there a couple years ago. Remember when the one boat sank?
Yeah.
You know, and he got like footage of it crashing and sinking and stuff like that. Yeah, that is pretty excited. And that too, we were talking about, you know, Shootout is changing. We'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. This is changing and growing too. Now, Lotto Power Fest used to be Lake Race. I think they're doing some great things, and I think this is going to become a huge thing. I really do.
I do too, and I'm excited to see. You know, right now it's only on, you know, there's a radio stream, but for something like this, I want to be able to watch it. And so a little teaser there. We might have some news for you in the near future. But I did want to mention, while we're talking about some of those videos, like last year at Shootout, you know, the Tri-Tune guy threw himself off the side of the boat.
That was so weird, yeah.
And, you know, some of those videos, Andrew shot. I think that at this point, Andrew is probably the most viewed videographer in the history of Lake of the Ozarks boating. Now, you can't give him credit for the crash because it was one of the other Lake TV guys that set up the GoPro and that. So if you take away those 500 million views, then Andrew is the most viewed boating videographer. And we're going to catch up to those 500 million over these next couple of years. So, man, we have a lot of great clips over the years.
We do. We really do. That's why we give you Lake TV classic videos.
Yeah.
Because over the life of Lake TV, which is about, what, 15 years now?
2018 or 2008 was when the guys started it officially. But I believe there's like Lake Cable and then Lake 24, like in 2007 with Scott Smith. And so, I mean, 15, 16, 17 years now.
Yeah, and that's why we give you Lake TV Classic Video, because we go back, you know, that many years and that video to show you, you know, how things have changed. And
that was all
stuff.
your brilliance, because there was those years and years of archives just sitting there.
Yeah.
And you found a way to help us revive those. So yeah, catch the Lake TV Classic videos. I'll be surprised when I see those sometimes, like the Mountain Man Festival.
And we've got a beautiful new host for the classic videos too.
Yeah,
so.
She's smoking hot. I'll be the first
check
to say
that
that.
out.
I'll say that. All right, so we're gonna take a commercial break. When we come back, my good buddy Paul Albers with the National Crappie League going to tell us a little bit about a really cool tournament coming up that first weekend in April, right after this.
Want to get to know local leaders better? Join Lake TV for the COMC Community Spotlight Show, weekdays at 9:02 a.m., 3:02 and 7:02 p.m. Chris Schneider talks with local leaders to find out more about them and their organizations. It's the COMC Community Spotlight Show on Lake TV.
All right, as promised, I've got, in my opinion, the expert of fishing in Lake of the Ozarks in mid-Missouri, my good buddy Paul Albers with the National Crappie League. And Paul, so you're with the National Crappie League and you guys working on some really cool tournaments. One's coming to the Lake of the Ozarks right around the corner. So it's been a while since we've gotten to catch up, but we're limited to about 6 or 7 minutes. So where do we begin?
Well, I think the best thing to start at is we haven't been here for the major tournament for 5 years. And folks, we have now brought it back. Thanks to Tri-County Lodging Association, the Miller County Group, and the Camden County Group. You know, we're back here. They're hosting this thing. We're going to do the registration stuff and the weigh-in at Captain Ron's over on 5 Highway. But the key thing is the first big major tournament. So, guys, you got to get out there, come and fish with us, because that's what it's all about, numbers. Right. But we're guaranteeing a purse of $20,000.
$20,000 in cash will be paid back. It's guaranteed amount, could grow up. And before we get too far ahead of ourselves, this Lake of the Ozarks tournament takes place when?
It takes place on April 7th and 8th. Okay. They come in, they have to be signed up by April 2nd. So you can go online at nationalcrappie.com, or you can call me at 573-280-8020. And but they have to be signed up. Remember, it's not like our divisional tournaments. This is an open tournament where anybody can fish it. Okay. And they have to be signed up April 2nd.
So then, we're sneaking up on the sign-up day. Yeah. You got to get that name sign up. Go to nationalcrappieleague.com to sign up. And some of the rules, regulations, or format of this particular tournament, walk us through.
Well, basically, you got to be signed up early. You have to be a member, which is $50 membership. We will give you your buoy and everything for weighing in at Captain Ron's that night. You have to be there by 5 o'clock. And they will actually be there and register or pick up their voucher 5 to 6. And then we're going to feed them there so they don't have to eat that night. We're going to have some food for them. and then we'll go over our rules. But you have to be on the body of Lake of the Ozarks from dam to dam, of course. You can't fish up by Truman though in where it's the no boat area, but other than that, you can fish anywhere on Lake of the Ozarks you want.
So it's going to be April 7th and 8th. The day before April 6th, you have that tournament meeting. It all takes place at Captain Ron's.
That's right.
Another cool thing with the National Crappie League, you guys have events all across the Midwest. But right now, if you sign up and become a member and get your membership or fish in any of the upcoming tournaments, you put your name in the hat for something pretty cool, right?
That's right. I think it's the first time I can ever remember in crappie history. If you just become a member at the National Championship, which will be on the Ouachita River, the 15th, 16th, and 17th, and we go into that a little bit, but if you just sign up, or if you fish a tournament and sign up, either way, we're going to give a completely rigged 198 Ranger boat away with a 115 horsepower motor, locators and all, to some lucky guy. We're going to pull that name out.
Or gal, but I'm hoping it's a guy because I'm going to sign up for my membership today.
That's right.
Fish in one of these tournaments, maybe I could get a boat. Okay, now the big fish is $2,000 for this particular tournament, but there's
$2,000.
a lot of other cash being paid out. So is there flighted, is there hourly weigh-ins with big fish prize, or how are these prize purses working?
Actually, they catch a total of 5 fish.
Okay.
It used to be 7, and that's very interesting, fellas, because I fished a lot of tournaments, and that 6th and 7th fish, you know, you want him to be 2 pounds, but he might be 1.25 pounds or 1 pound, and you just can't get rid of him. We just had a tournament here a while back on the Alabama River, our first one. 6th, 7th, and 8th place after the first day. Changed around was 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and they actually won 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Wow.
So it's a matter of hundreds of ounces you go by, but it is a total weight of 5 fish. They all have to be alive. You get to fish from 6:30 to 2:30, be in the weigh in line by 3:30, and then of course we'll weigh you in, and then the one that's got the most weight wins, you know.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a cool tournament. Tell us about some of the others that you guys have on your 2023 schedule. And is this the first of the circuit, or how does that fall?
No, the first tournament was Alabama River, and it was an open. Our tournament, we got one at Weiss Lake, which is a divisional tournament, and our divisional tournament's a little different. They're a $10,000 guaranteed tournament. You can sign up. It's more for the working guy. You can sign up the night before the tournament if you want to. No late fees or anything. It's still a $50 membership. But if you won $5,000 on the divisional tournaments or more per individual, you can't fish it. If you placed in the top 5 in ACT or Crappie Masters or Wally Marshall's big event, you can't fish it, or no guides can fish it. So it's for the working guy.
Yeah.
Actually they will qualify as a divisional angler to go to the national championship. The open tournaments, you'll qualify as a pro to go to the national championship.
Hey, Paul, real quick, why I got you.
Yeah.
Why people are watching, probably gaining interest in fishing at Lake of the Ozarks. They fished all over the country. Maybe they haven't been here. What would you say separates our Lake of the Ozarks as far as a fishing body of water compared to the other places you have tournaments?
Well, there's a couple things on our lake. You can get out of the wind on this lake because you got all the hills and stuff. Some of the lakes, wind just kills you.
Right.
But just the atmosphere, all the stuff that you can do if you want to bring your family here, you know, that's a lot of fun. But lots of fish. I mean, I've had several guys come from all over the United States here. Now, you know, it don't have the biggest fish like Grenada or whatever, but our fish are getting better. And wouldn't be a bit surprised on 5 fish that it don't have to be a 2 pound average here at the tournament. We're getting a lot of big fish here, but a lot of pound and a quarter fish in this lake. If you want to come and catch a lot of fish, have a lot of fun, or recreation of other sorts, you need to come to Lake of the Ozarks.
All right, hey, listen, and maybe you want to get plugged in with Paul and his crew at the National Crappie League or find out about this upcoming tournament on April 7th and 8th. Give him a call one more time, Paul. What is that phone number?
573-280-8020. And guys, we need you to be here. We'll have teams coming from out of state, but we need you to support this thing. We want to come here for lots of years to go. And we're even talking about, in a couple of years, bringing the national championship here.
That would be something. Well,
That's
Paul,
right.
hey, man, thank you for your time. That's Paul Alpers. He's with the National Crappie League, that tournament on April 7th and 8th. We'll be right back on Cup of Coffee after this.
Join us for the Lake TV Classic Game of the Week Tuesday and Friday evenings. The next great classic game we have is from way back in 2013 when Camdenton and Kickapoo were undefeated and highly ranked when they went up against each other. It was one of the best games of the year. The Classic Game of the Week, Tuesday and Friday nights on Lake TV.
Awesome. So check out that classic game next Friday night, Tuesdays as well. I'll tell you what, those are some of the best games. Those are not hard to watch either.
I sit down on Tuesday and Friday nights. I'll flip over to Lake TV, and I'm stuck for the next 2 hours because I'm watching this classic game. I'm watching Wild Will when, back when you were young and skinny or young and fat, depending on which year it was. And seeing these coaches and stuff like that, those are some great games,
That's greatness. All right, so to keep the trend of fishing moving right along, we had a really cool tournament, the first annual Spoonbill Snagging Tournament presented by Real Deal Fishing Guides. We had Thatcher Waymeyer on twice over the last 6 months. We had the promo, a lot of stuff going on, and that tournament came and went, and it's in the books and a big-time success for the guys. About 230 entrants or participants in that tournament, which was, that was where they wanted to be, was over 200, and that put them in a good place. Well over $20,000 in cash prizes given out. $10,000 first place prize, the overall big fish, Davis Southier, and it was 84.28 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
84 pounds?
Yeah.
Wow.
Those spoonbill get huge, and you see the pictures there provided by Real Deal Fishing. I know that my buddy Jake Carolla is their photographer with Carolla Pics, did a great job there. And then second place, man, this is so close. This is a fifth of a pound, but an $18,000 or an $8,000 difference. Second place, Brett Mueller, 84.08 pounds.
Wow. I don't even know how you pull those things in. I mean, that's 85 pounds you're pulling out of the water.
You got to be man.
I guess so, man.
It would take both of us.
I'd be out for a couple of weeks.
It would take both of us to pull that winning fish in.
No kidding.
In third place with $1,000, Wayne Tucker Jr. at 82.87. Smallest fish was pretty cool. They had 18.8. I didn't know they did stuff like this. Paul was just telling us. A target fish, they set a random weight, and it was 43.08 for an extra cash prize, and Zach Bechtel actually hit that.
Wow.
And I thought this was cool. So every 2 hours of the tournament Saturday, from 7 to 9, from 9 to 11, 11 to 1, and 1 to 3, they had 5 payouts. So you could go weigh in every 2 hours. And at the end of the tournament, if you didn't win one of the top 3, you then qualified for all of those prizes. And so there was like $1,300 every 2 hour period additional given out. I was like, I see why these people get into fishing so much. There is serious money to be made if you're good and you can win some of this stuff.
Well, and some of these people are really hardy too because, some of these tournaments, as you see at the Lake of the Ozarks, it's cold out there.
Oh, yeah.
Cold and windy and all that stuff, or hot, when the sun's beating down on you. These are some hardy folks, some serious folks that are out there fishing, man.
Oh, they do not mess around. So super cool. I did want to mention Thatcher. I was talking with him and Blake. They said Ivy Bend Land Office was huge for them and their crew with this tournament. Really rolled out the red carpet, made it possible for them to get this first annual tournament that they were kind of behind the ball on, they felt like. So Ivy Bend Land Office has been providing quality property at the Lake of the Ozarks since 1967. And maybe your dream property or piece of land at the Lake of the Ozarks is just a phone call away. One phone call to Ivy Bend Land Office, 573-372-6493. Again, over $20,000 in cash given away, and it's only the first year of the tournament. Thatcher and his crew have told us they're already working on year number 2 for the annual snagging tournament, Chris. Bigger turnout, bigger and wider media coverage, and you guessed it, more cash prizes. They said literally they want to get their tournament just like the Big Bass Bash with a $100,000 big fish prize.
Oh, man, that's fantastic. And I think they're going to get there, and I think it's going to get there pretty fast. I mean, look at the success they had in the first year, and they were really smart going about it. They teamed up with Lake TV and other really smart people, and it worked out.
Yeah, and they're such likable guys.
Yeah.
Such hardworking, honest, and they're so good at what they do. Thatcher, who has his snagging, obviously the tournaments, but he also has the guide services, the Real Deal Fishing Guides, and his specialty is the spoonbill, and that goes all the way through the end of April. And so he's like out taking these people on these guide trips to the hot spots on the lake. And if you look at his Real Deal Fishing Guides Facebook page, there's pictures of 6 to 8 huge spoonbill all these people are bringing home. And he does everything from, he helps you catch them, he helps you clean them, he helps you slice them up, put them in bags, and he'll even fry them for you if you don't want to take them home and freeze them.
And I hear it's really good eating. I
bet not.
I've never had it before, but I've watched some Missouri conservation videos, and they say it's really good eating.
I was talking more about crappie, but if you want to eat the spoonbill,
I
I'm sure
love
people
crappie,
do.
man, yeah.
It is good eating. Listen, but if you want to talk with Thatcher about maybe get involved for next year's tournament, become a sponsor, or hey, you want to book a guide trip with Thatcher, not just spoonbill, but also crappie, bass, other fish, give him a call or visit lakeozarkfishing.com. You find his email and his phone number and all of that information there. I don't know if Chris is going to be able to hold it together as we move forward to the NCAA tournament update. I don't even want to talk about it. It's bad.
I'm on the road to victory here, baby.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to be. No one has any teams left except for you.
I mean, we have several people in our group. Their whole Final Four is gone.
My whole Elite Eight is gone.
Wow. And, usually when you get to the Sweet 16, I usually have, 10 to 12 teams left. I only have 6, 7 teams left. But despite that, everybody else is doing so bad. I have the best chance right now to win. I have Alabama as my champion, and they're still alive. And elsewhere in our league, we had people picking Missouri and
I wonder who that was.
Kansas and Purdue. And they're all gone, right? So
Deborah's the only one that has a shot, right?
I think so.
She picked Bama.
Pretty much between me, Deborah, and Annie, I think, because we all picked Alabama to
Annie
win.
picked Alabama. I pray it's Annie or Deborah. I cannot sit through another 6 years of you talking about something you won.
Well, I won the NFL championship.
Oh, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, right?
Right.
Not this year.
Yeah, the year before.
You have to remind
but
you
this
that
year I let Kevin win because he's such a good guy, right?
At least you said his name this time. Big shout out to Kev and Deborah. I got to see them Saturday after the parade. They came by to the Lake TV executive office. We got them some swag, but just awesome people.
Yeah.
We are so thankful for Kevin Hornick and Deborah there. Fantastic.
But that's what a giver I am. I let Kevin win the NFL this year, out of the goodness of my
Listen,
heart.
Ricky won the NCAA tournament last year. Kevin won the football tournament. Those are the only two things we can talk about because we're already into the next NCAA tournament. Had you won that one
Which
last
I'm
year?
going to win.
Did you win last year?
I let Ricky win last year.
We'll talk about letting Ricky win, then Kevin, you let him in football. So you might as well, he's going to let Deb or Annie win, and he is withdrawing from the competition.
I will let Deb win because she's
funny.
great.
She is. All right, so hey, let's talk about state basketball championships. You went down to Springfield again last week. Did you see any champions?
I did. I watched all of the championship games, and there were 6 of them. And by the way, next year they're going back to Columbia for the high school state championships. They've been in Springfield for the last few years. So this year they wrapped them up last weekend. Vashon won both the boys and girls in Class 4. Cardinal Ritter won boys Class 5. Jeff City finished 3rd. Wow. They had a great year, Jeff City, the Jays. Lutheran St. Charles won the girls Class 5. Carl Junction was 2nd. And Staley, school out of Kansas City, won the Class 6 championship over Kickapoo.
That's tough.
Yeah. And usually it's the St. Louis high school teams winning the state. Staley out of Kansas City wins. And Incarnate Word won the Class 6 girls. Incarnate Word has won 10 of the last 12 state championships in Missouri.
Wow.
That's how powerful they are. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
That's incredible. And Vashon, that was their men's 14th state championship and their girls' first ever, and they did it together, so pretty cool there. All right, a couple of things. You can catch Bill Mulder on the Community Spotlight Show this week.
Local history.
Yeah, he's awesome. And then Alan Sullivan will be on next week. Don't miss Happy Hour with DJ Kyle. We were out with Shootout at the Loop shooting his new year-round fun monthly feature with Shootout Yamaha. You don't want to miss that. And, of course, don't miss Thursday night. If you don't see our show this week until after Thursday, our forum, Thursday night, March 23rd at 6 o'clock. You can go watch it anytime after the event on our Facebook page and by Monday of next week on our YouTube channel, so don't miss that. That's going to do it for this week's Cup of Coffee. For Uncle Chris, I'm Wild Will. We'll see you next week.